sleep, it's not. You know?
Okay, so if we could talk for another 5 minutes, I'm recording you now because I got to remember this stuff. Tell me that last one.
To the awakened, illumined, or enlightened soul, the path and the destination are one. And that's how we feel connected to our goal, because the path we're walking is our goal. And each man's or woman's path reveals itself as he or she walks it. It's important that we awaken to the magnificence of ourselves, of God, the universe, life, the miracle of life, the great mystery, and even ourselves, our gifts, our talents, the preciousness of it all. And to be aware of all that makes an entire difference between living awake or living asleep.
Well, you're inspiring me. I had a young man this morning who was a cerebral palsy victim, and after he heard my speech, he decided to interview me. So he went live on Facebook to his followers, and he was so happy to have met me, and I got so much joy out of bringing this guy who has cerebral palsy, which is obviously a horrendous affliction. And he was so happy, and I was so happy to make him happy, and that's what it's all about, you know?
It's a difficult burden, yet life and experience are not what happened to us. It's what we make out of what happens to us. It's what we do with what happens to us. That's what life and experience really are, you know? And so sometimes those burdens can be converted to blessings. Every experience, even the most painful and difficult, have a pot of gold buried somewhere in it for those who can find it, for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. So every experience, no matter how painful, is either, you know, a redemption, a blessing, you know, or a lesson of some kind. And it's what we make out of it.
If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
It does, exactly right. That's often used and always correct. That's true. So, you know, some of these burdens also, remember, we can have our joys and our happiness and our lightheartedness, and that can give us the heights, like inspiration. But, you know, oftentimes it's pain, difficulty, suffering that gives us the depths. You don't get the depths through the heights. You know, so I wrote an aphorism that says, it is often a quiet sadness that gives birth to our most exquisite compassion for the world and for life. And if you didn't have the hardship, you wouldn't have the empathy often. You wouldn't have the compassion to quite the extent, you know? And so you wouldn't understand or appreciate or feel other people the same way. And we're all connected. We're all cells. Each one of us a cell in the collective human body. You know, so we all affect each other.
Well, it took 79 different careers to lead me to this one, but they all help in this one because they're all experiences in different countries with different people. And I may have forgotten more careers than most people have had, but the ones I can remember are helping me be positive, give good guidance and good knowledge, and spread the the positive nature of my that I've got inside me.
Well, each of your careers was a stepping stone to where you are right now. And like I said once before, I told you that within every human being there's a spiritual and creative giant struggling to break free. We can romance the infinite and look at all the diversity of everything throughout the universe and in our world and in our lives and so on, and they can help to awaken us to the vastness and grandeur and the infinite possibilities in the universe. But still, somewhere deep down in our core existence, there's that spiritual, being and consciousness that's rooted in God and into the core of the universe. And that goes back to oneness. So it's unity in diversity. It's both. You can look at the outer universe, or you can look at the inner universe. And I like to tell people that inner space is just as vast as the hundreds and hundreds of billions of light years of distance across the reaches of space. What goes on inside of us is no smaller in scale or in number than what goes on in the greater universe itself. Truly. There are trillions of processes happening within every human being.
Every second.
And some of them, every second. And each of us have ways within us that often cannot be said or spoken. But when you open your heart, they can be felt. And that's what we need to do, is open our hearts so we can feel each other, and appreciate each other and love each other and even respect each other if we look a little different or if we think differently or whatever. We need to get back to more of that,
Well,
our society's gone a little bit too awry. We got to pull it back to center.
You know what I found is it's really the big city. It's not the small cities that have the big problem, and it's a rat race. There's a saying that there's a rat race, and there's long lines wherever you go, and on the freeways, on the roads, and too many people are selfish. They won't let you in traffic. They only care about themselves, and we need to be, like Ellen says, be kind to one another, and the way to do that is just start being positive and caring about the neighbors,
I have a very peculiar thought from time to time when I'm driving in traffic in LA with 6 million of my closest friends, on the road.
Right.
And from time to time I think to myself, Lao Tzu in ancient China and Confucius, Confucius, and Krishna and Buddha and Jesus. Patanjali was the creator of yoga, and the Yoga Sutras. And, all these great souls, and Moses and Muhammad and these beings, they never lived in big cities like ours with traffic jams and stop signs and red lights. And I wonder, what is the effect of when you want to flow and you want to go, but you have to stop thousands and thousands of times for stop signs and traffic signals?
Well,
I mean, it's an unusual thing. You're right. In the smaller urban and country settings, you don't have so much of that. Less stress.
I find that people are rushing to red lights, and there's no logical reason for that. And it's an analogy of rushing through life.
That's right.
When I tell people, when you see a red light, take your foot off the accelerator and glide. You're going to save money, and you're not going to wear your brakes out, but you don't get anywhere sooner by stopping at the red light. And that's an analogy. I think that's an analogy for life. And of course, it's the big city that's happening. We're all in a rush, and of course, we're getting in accidents because of it, and we're running over people, and it's just, it's the big city. It is a rat race, and people just need to stop and start thinking outside their little 8 to 5 job and start thinking of their neighbors. They really do.
Well, I agree, and I'm going to drop another spiritual mystical aphorism on you.
Okay.
It says, there's a place we all must go to that can only be reached by not going anywhere.
Oh, I like that one.
Because it's already complete. Our center is inside of us, wherever we are.
Yes.
Doesn't matter where we go or don't go.
Right.
So
I like that one.
It's a good one.
You got to start sending me these so I could put them into animation for the Instagram.
We will do it. So, to all people, a slightly belated Happy New Year.
Yeah, well, I do appreciate every time I talk to you. We've had some great conversations, this one being another one. And, it helps me give a little bit more confidence in my little goal now to be Dr. Fantastic and spread the pollinating positivity with the little bee, my little bee logo. And literally,
you're on the right track.
I'm on the right track. It's nice to hear. Yeah. It keeps me going each day to see people smile. When people first say that they're fantastic, and I get that 10 times a day, their eyes light up, and I ask them, now how do you feel? Because I make them say they're fantastic, and they say literally 80% of the time they say, I feel fantastic. because
That's great.
as you know, the smile releases the endorphins and the dopamine and the serotonin. But when I first see people do it for the first time, it's quite unique. It's quite a exciting moment to see their eyes open up and realize that just with one word, their whole energy and their whole mindset changed.
Well, and when I see people smile from time to time, when I can, I tell them, hey, a smile is a message from heaven and a sign of love.
Well, we all look better with smiles, and they are contagious, and they're probably the healthiest thing you could do for your body.
There you go. Smiles and laughter. Exactly.
Laughter is the best medicine.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is. It is. So
let's go on tour together, Doug. I met a doctor the other day, Dr. Atifa McCampbell, and she's a published author. And when she heard my Be Fantastic speech, she immediately said we have to collaborate and write a book together because she's already a motivational speaker. People, even the motivational speakers, get it.
Absolutely, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So
listen, some of us, and look, it's incumbent upon every human being to find their highest mission and purpose. And really, that highest mission and purpose is not a job or a career, this or that. That's wonderful. It can be fulfilling. It can be right livelihood. But ultimately, it's to breathe love in and out of our universe, in our world, to breathe love into our world, and to open our hearts and to be inclusive of one another, to lift and heal each other, and to share the wonderful treasures and the preciousness of our experiences on this wondrous, wondrous journey.
It is a fascinating journey. You don't know how long you have on the rock, I always say. My parents died when I was 9 years old, so they didn't have a lot of time on the rock. And I tell people, really, really try to appreciate every day. You know the old saying, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
Exactly.
It's a great...
Well, and I did write something along that line, too. It's got a little bit of a teaching story or lesson in it. It's very brief, but it's, oftentimes people have falling outs, and they have fights and arguments and battles and bad feelings and anger, and or go the other way and are cold to each other. I wrote, settle your differences each and every day, for only God knows whom among us shall remain tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. We don't know. And there's another philosopher that said, live every day as though it's your last, because one day it will be your last.
And yet, at the same time, study as if you were going to live forever.
There you go. I like that. I tell a lot of young people, there's a place that all the information in the world is. It's called the library, and it's free information. You should start, get what your goal is and start reading about it now. And when you go to school, when you have to pay money for that education, you already know the answers.
Absolutely.
And now there's Google, of course, but...
Monty, what I like about your joyous work right now, motivating and inspiring people, is that I know you're not making any of this up, because I understand it, and when it comes from you, it's real. It's imbued with feeling from heart, soul, and spirit, and that's really important, because in many, many aspects of human experience, sincerity surpasses most other forms of excellence. So when you love what you do and you're sincere about it, that's when people get it the most and appreciate it the most.
Well, what's unique about my journey is I went to the school of hard knocks. I didn't go to college. I barely got through high school and junior high. And I just had a lot of common sense. But, and I haven't read any motivational books, and I haven't read any religious books. And it's I don't know how it's coming out of me, but maybe it's the movies I've watched or what have you, but it's sound advice.
Right, it is. Well, I wrote once, one of the great purposes of humanity is to remember. And so we have all of the truth, beauty, goodness, virtue, knowledge, wisdom, all these things exist within us at the deepest level. So sometimes it's not just a process of outer learning, oftentimes just as legitimately more equally and often more powerfully is the process of inner awareness and inner remembrance.
Yeah.
So you don't need a PhD to be able to tap into that. That's something that is innate, and it is our relationship, each of us uniquely to the heart and core of the universe. And so there you have it. Vital people vitalize other people, and you're getting all lit up now, so you're going to light up a lot of other people.
It's just so much fun doing it. They say karma comes back threefold, and I truly believe that that's the case. And
there you go.
I'm so happy to have you as a friend, Doug. Thanks for the 15 minutes here. This is another great podcast. I love my podcasting more than my uplifting interviews with total strangers on YouTube, because it's total strangers they all have a great story, and there's a lot to be learned and motivated from those stories. But when I talk to people like yourself, the intelligent people that I happen to know, the podcasts are far and beyond what chance will have me on the uplifting interviews with total strangers.
There you go,
Doug.
There you go.
Happy New Year. I'm glad your
Happy New Year to you.
Glad your family's doing a little bit better.
And to the rest of your family and mine, Monty, the 7.3 billion people out there. So absolutely. And in terms of your newfound joy and happiness, may you never recover from it.
Thank you so much, my friend.
All right. Have a great day.
Have a fantastic day.
Okay.
Don't.
Bye-bye.
Bye.